This leads me to talk about sources of sexual information. Places teens and adolescents will visit are their parents, siblings, relatives, school, peers, magazines, TV, and the internet. What is the concern? The accuracy of the information. The most frequent sources that teens will visit are, of course, their friends, teachers, their mothers, and the media. From our textbook, we learned that adolescents learning about sex from their parents, grandparents, and religious leaders are linked to beliefs in delayed sexual activity. Whether that actually occurs is up to them. In a similar study, learning from friends, cousins, and the media is linked to increased beliefs of having sex earlier. Adolescents are often uncomfortable when talking to their parents about sex, and vice versa. Parents are very uncomfortable about talking about sex to adolescents. Oftentimes, adolescents feel like they cannot talk openly about sexual matters to their parents and turn to peers and the internet. But then again, those that actually do talk about sex to their parents are actually less likely to have sexual intercourse. Females are more likely to use contraceptives when they are able to talk openly about sex to their parents. Further, a study revealed that first-year college students, particularly females, who talked openly about sex to their mothers had a more positive belief about using condoms and more confidence using them. Adolescents tend to talk to their mothers rather than their fathers about sexual matters. Females will talk more about sex than the male counterparts. A study in 2003 by Sabrina Mahar, Let's Talk About Sex, is Sex Health Ed Working, talks about adolescents being forced to keep up with the media's portrayal of sexual behavior. An example of this is in music videos and how sexualized they have become. Teachers, however, should not throw their hands up in the air trying to combat these music videos, but instead bring up these music videos and talk about the portrayal of these individuals. Talk about how the male is being portrayed, the female is being portrayed, etc. If teachers are successful in bringing up these, maybe we can curb. A question that we asked our peers while interviewing them was, where or who did you learn about sex from? Was the information good?
I guess media, I guess education. Yeah.
Probably from all my guy friends, kind of like the later elementary, early junior high. They were always started talking about it, even though nobody understood it. You just learn about it from them.
So was it good information?
No, it was horrible.
From my mom, and then also from hearing it in school and things like that.
Was it good information?
Yes.
Bit of a combination. I don't think my parents told me enough, but I think too when I grew up back in the dark ages that it wasn't as promoted to tell your kids. It was more like a secret. But so I learned a lot from my cousins. Yeah.
Was it good information?
No. No.
Again, friends and sex ed in high school, I guess.
Do you think it was good information?
Sex ed, not so much. Friends, perhaps a little bit better.
Which, I mean, you learn the basics and the A goes to B, but you talk about it with your friends and through experience.
Was it good information?
No.
Hey Andrew.
Yes, Drew.
As an adolescent, were you mature enough to understand your body?
No, I don't think I was. What about you, Drew?
I don't know, really, no.
What about Dan?
Yes, I think we underestimate how mature they are and how much we should be telling them.
I
think it depends on the person, but I know me personally, I was not anywhere near sexually active when I was in junior high and stuff, and I did not know. I personally was not mature enough to understand what was going on and everything, but there are other people who knew, but I didn't, so depends on your level of maturity, I suppose.
Well, teens, that's pretty broad, like 13 to 18. I'd say no, generally not.
No.
No, why is that?
Because sex ed doesn't cover a lot of things which I think are important.
I think girls are before boys are, but that's developmentally too. But when you're in junior high, no. I don't think you know enough about the consequences of doing things in your body.
To have sex?
Do they understand their body?
Do they
To have sex, to do whatever with their body.
Not to the extent that I think they should. I think that they're taught a lot of misinformation. Like the question about teaching sex to kids, I think they're taught how to do it, but not the consequences of doing it. So I think they'll do it, but they don't understand what will come of it.
What were
Did you know that adolescents often find themselves as indestructible? That nothing bad can actually happen to them?
I can believe that.
Actually, yeah, 14-year-olds have this egocentrism of, it won't happen to me. Increasingly, though, as they become more cognitively aware, they're realizing that these bad things can often happen to them. Informing about contraceptives is often not enough. They have to accept these changes emotionally and cognitively to mature.
Really, I had no idea. I did know, however, Drew, that most 16-year-olds are not cognitively developed enough to reason, problem solve, or even think about consequences. In fact, when it comes to adolescent pregnancy, they often are not able to properly predict outcomes, at least according to what our textbook has taught me. And yet it also states that others that have the ability of problem solving may be actually blinded by their emotions, especially as if when they're sexually turned on or having peer pressure. In fact, I don't know if you knew this, but 10 to 15-year-olds actually experience sex in a very depersonalized way. In fact, they actually feel anxiety and denial. But this does not lead to preventative behaviors. But as they get older, between 15 and 17, they actually tend to romanticize sexuality. And then when they get even older yet, 18 to 19, they actually finally are able to view their sexuality in a more realistic way and also think about the future.